Welcome to another top pick based on originality, condition, and price. Our feature car today is a 1964 Imperial Crown Coupe. You're going to really like this car, folks. My name is Rob Lofaris. You're watching Rob's Car Picks. Let's go check this car out. I found this car on Craigslist just a little while ago. It's based in Chicago. It's a 1964 Imperial Crown Coupe. Seller states it has 85,000 miles. Something this old, we always say true mileage unknown until we talk with the seller. The seller gives a brief description on the car. He does write that it's in excellent condition, but not perfect. So, one of the first things we need to do is define what does excellent condition but not perfect mean. But overall, when you look at the car, it does look very inviting. He's asking $15,000, and again, it's up in Chicago. In 1955, Chrysler registered the Imperial name as a separate car make with no Chrysler badging anywhere on its car. So this was like in 1955, they just basically called the Imperial its own brand, just like Lincoln and just like Cadillac. However, the problem with Chrysler was they didn't have separate Imperial showrooms. So the Imperials were basically put in the same Chrysler showrooms, and they kind of got watered down. You know, nothing beats having an exclusive experience with a brand like Cadillac and Lincoln in that time. So the Cadillac, they just couldn't compete with that type of atmosphere. They didn't have that exclusivity. So eventually, the Chrysler badge got back on the car, and then the Chrysler badge for Imperial Chrysler Imperial was used throughout the 1980s and all that with Lee Iacocca and all. So the name's it's kind of been watered down. But when this car was built in '64, it really was an Imperial Crown Coupe. There was no Chrysler badging at all to be found on this car. So this car was known for its very smooth ride, quiet operation, and real comfort. And back then, the engineers really worked hard to isolate the chassis with the body by using really well thought through rubber, bushings and all that to really give you an isolated feel, but still manage to, you know, feel where the car's going with braking and steering and things like that. So Cadillac did the same thing, and Lincoln did the same. I don't know if one was better than the others, but certainly the Imperial wasn't a cash cow, and they weren't making a lot of money with these cars. They put so much money into these cars with engineering and quality of materials and fit and finish and all that they didn't have the volume like Cadillac and Lincoln had back in those days. So I doubt that Chrysler really made a lot of money with these cars. We'll take you through the ad. This car has a 413 cubic inch engine, 340 horsepower. It's a V8. All the features like a vinyl top, two-tone paint, auto dimming headlights, power windows, power seats, air conditioning, cruise. All these things were standalone options, and this car appears to be nicely equipped with the exception to air conditioning. Now, if this car lived its life in Chicago, it was common back in those days in the 60s not to spend the extra $175 on air conditioning, and they would save some money, and they didn't need that feature because it was really never that hot. But if this car was down in Florida, you'd want air conditioning. So without air conditioning and the immediate need to change its single line brake cylinder, because it only has a one brake cylinder function, I was thinking more in the $9,000 to $10,000 range. But we need to get under this massive car to know for sure what this car is all about. So let's dive into the ad and talk about the ad a little bit. So again, he's selling his perfect 1964 Chrysler Imperial Crown Coupe. So the word Chrysler is not really a Chrysler; it's an Imperial Crown Coupe, in excellent condition but not perfect. I would like $15,000 cash. For more information, yada yada, get in touch with me. Here's my phone number. So this car was posted 12 days ago. So if we look at the actual photos, let's dive into these photos a bit. It appears to be very well presented in its photos. I don't know what's not perfect, but it could mean mechanical issues and things like that if this car's been sitting for a while. And of course, it could mean rust and things like that. So you'll see the full wheel cover is really nice. The slab side of the car, if this looks like a Lincoln, it's not by accident. It was designed that way, to have that slab side down. And Cadillac in '64 wasn't going with that slab. They were going with the tail fins, the jet age with the tail fins in the back. But the Lincoln and the Imperial definitely had its own distinct line. Look at that beautifully curved front windshield. a nice wing window, and that very stately limousine type look for a two-door. And you can see how much room there is in the back seat and all. It's very pretty. So it's a beautiful design. The interior, you can see right away, it doesn't have any vents for air conditioning. Um, I'm not sure if this is the original seats. I doubt it, but somebody spent a lot of money if they reupholstered these seats. The door edges here, that looks kind of original. I don't see any rust. The carpets and all that look really nice. Uh, this is the back seat. Again, the big window in the back that really makes it looks very pretty. A very wide B pillar. It's a hard top look with a big wide B pillar. Armrests that come out. That's very, very beautiful. Look at that stance. I mean, it looks like it's in motion. If you remember the Green Hornet, that TV show, he used to drive an Imperial. I believe it was a Lincoln too. He had two different types of cars back in those days. But yeah, real pretty. And look at the back. Look at the back bumper. There's a lot of work back there with that bumper. The bumper was probably made in like four pieces, and they had to braze them together or weld them together to give it that look. And I think they did a really good job. So yeah, that's the back window, and it almost looks like a convertible top, but that's that bubble top look that they used to kind of get. A nice wide opening grill to get some fresh air in there to cool the engine down. You had this beautiful eyeglass here, which was your hood ornament, almost like a sight that you would have on a fighter plane and things like that. That's very pretty. Big trunk. I noticed a different type of wheel here. It's almost like a sport wheel. So I'm wondering if the person is into cars, different types of cars, taking cars like these and really like flashing them up a bit and all that, making them like low riders and things. But kind of reminds me of a low rider type wheel, alloy wheel back here. So I'm not sure what's going on here. But the inside looks nice. The trunk looks nice. The engine bay looks really presentable. I don't see any rust anywhere. Here we look at almost looks like the original radiator. And there's that single line brake booster. So you only had one line coming out of this brake booster that fed all four wheels. So if anything was to happen with this cylinder here, you would actually lose your brakes. So what we do right away is we change this master cylinder around so you can have a two-circuit braking system. So the front wheel brakes and the rear wheel brakes as well. But the engine bay looks really nice. It doesn't look like it's been doctored up or painted recently. It almost looks like that's original paint on the air cleaner and all that. So I like how that looks. Again, no air conditioning. You can see that big void area. Now you can put a vintage air conditioning system in the car if you wanted to. Cost you some money and some engineering to hose it up and wire it up, but it's possible. There it is in a different setting. The first setting was a commercial setting. This is a home setting, so gives me the opinion that the car is at home. And that's the garage and the car is parked and all. Different time of the year, of course. This is not Chicago right now. We don't have these beautiful trees yet. We will soon, but so that's a spring or summer photo. There's another shot of the car looking nice. You could see the sitting. The car sits very well on its wheel well arches and things like that. I love these door pulls here to open up the doors like an aircraft, open and close. There's your switches for the windows. That's a switch. It almost looks like that. That's also for your seats. I believe that seat. This must be one for the window, one for the back window, maybe. Oh no, maybe one electrical window is electrical for the wing window. The other one is for your passenger, the big window here. So that's pretty cool. That's really nice. And look at all the material they used in doors in those days. Leather, chrome. Nobody makes doors like this anymore. And the little crown insignia here on the door panel. And that very handsome looking. Another shot of the engine bay. Looks like the fenders and all that look very original. So it looks like somebody spent some money on getting this car in this condition. Again, the master controls for the driver's door includes all the windows, plus his own seat function and all that. So not only can he control the windows here, but he can control the windows for the back. Push button, direction for your transmission, which is really cool. I love that. There's your Twilight Centennial, for your high beams. Lincoln, had this on the hood. This one is, pouched here, setting up from the dashboard. Nice bright work here on the steering wheel. Beautiful workmanship. Again, all that workmanship on the steering wheel and, the horn here area. It's so pretty. They don't make cars like this anymore. And that's a nice view of the front seats on this car. So overall, the car gives a very nice opinion. $15,000 appears to be on the top side of this car, only because it doesn't have air conditioning. And the other thing is we have to define what he meant by saying at the very beginning, excellent condition but not perfect. So we need to figure out what that's all about. Well, when I wrote down at the end, I said, over the years, I've had my share of restoring large domestic luxury cars from the 60s. I've done Lincolns and Cadillacs and such. And my only suggestion is that you really need a very large garage to take this car in. So when you take this car home, you're going to have to buy, USA made floor jacks, not something from, Harbor Freight. You want something really strong to hold this car up for you. Yeah, I have to be very resourceful, source parts, join clubs and things like that. And really important when you get into the electricals and you get into power windows and all that, you got to be into tinkering and rebuilding what's already there when possible, because it's so difficult to find parts for cars at this age. So you got to get into the rebuilding of what's there, and everything can be restored. It just takes a little time to rewire a motor and figure out the gearing and things like that for power windows and power seats and things like that, because you're not going to be able to go to Rock Automotive and buy anything for this car. Maybe alternators and things like that, but other than that, it's going to be hard to source things. So, but that's it. That's why we chase cars like this down in the first place. If you enjoy this car, please subscribe to our Facebook page too. That Facebook link is right here I'll take you to our homepage. You can subscribe right here to our Facebook page. And also please subscribe to this channel as well. We're looking to grow our channel and get more and more subscribers so we can do live questions and answer Q&A on Rob's Car Picks. So thanks for joining me today. Thanks for all your support. We'll see you again real soon with another top pick. See you then. Bye.